Yep. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of the Wrestling Junkies podcast with Mr. Cincinnati. And conspicuous by his absence is the podcast dad. It is Father's Day as we are recording this. So Chris is taking the day off, spending the day with his wife and kids. So, buddy, happy Father's Day to you, as well as to the fathers and father figures out there watching this episode. Nevertheless, we keep moving on. This is it's one of our favorite things to do on this podcast is we get to talk to wrestlers. So today, my guest is a Dayton, Ohio native who has competed for Black Label Pro Wrestling and Ascend Pro Wrestling. He is a Ascend Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champion. He's 1/4 of the Tragedy Boiz and 1/2 of Hot Topic. Please welcome Percy Drews. Percy, how you doing, man?
Hey, yo, I like how you said 1/4. You should have said the leader of the Tragedy Boiz.
Okay.
And
the leader of the Tragedy Boiz.
The actual leader. Yeah, I tell every time I'm on a broadcast, I love telling the origin story of the Tragedy Boiz because
Please do.
I'm the number one. The first member is me. So I always take credit for creating it. But literally the Tragedy Boiz was me. Do you know who Riley Rose is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so me and Riley grew up together. Same high school, same teachers and everything. And the Tragedy Boiz was our rap group name growing up. Yeah, we were the New Boys mixed with Bad Meets Evil. This was like 2011, 2012.
I like it.
Like literally like beginning of high school, and we're like, this is our rap group name. We're gonna be freaking awesome with it, and we sucked at rapping. We were really bad at it, and like me and him always argued on like who was gonna be the voice, the 5'9", and who was gonna be the Eminem of the group. So like half the time, me and him were just bickering with each other, or me and him would just freestyle with one another, and it would just be us just picking on each other.
I like it.
Yeah.
So before we get on to the wrestling, what were some of your favorite rappers growing up?
Oh my goodness. Obviously Eminem.
Yep.
I hate Drake a little bit growing up when he was good in his prime. Drake was good.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, obviously. I didn't get into rap till like late 2008, 2009. So like roughly the artist that was popping at those times. Like I still listen to now, but It's like I don't like this new generation of rap, man. I don't like. It's not good.
I get it. Yeah, it's definitely a different time for sure. It's always cyclical, and wrestling is obviously no different. So tell us, here at the Wrestling Junkies, we look at wrestlers. They are superheroes. They are supervillains that clash. They all have origin stories. That's the one thing that they have in common. So tell us about some of your earliest memories of pro wrestling and what got you into the business.
Oh, so what got me into pro wrestling was actually just growing up. Me and my brother on a random Friday night will try and find something to watch. And we literally just bumped into SmackDown. I think this was when it was like on the CW, I think, at the time. And we were like, it was a random episode. It was Batista and Kane battling like on the outside, like a double count out. And my brother was like, oh, well, my friend has pictures of the bald guy. Well, the funny part is they were both bald. So we were like, well, which one? And he was like, I think the one with the red tights, which was Kane. And then like they just kept brawling. And I was like, whoa, this is actually kind of cool. And then I think the main segment was like Edge and like a wheelchair with Vicky Guerrero. And Edge was like just like yelling at her. And like Rey Mysterio comes out of nowhere. And it's like, this is cool. So then I started watching every Friday night. And then, like, I only knew SmackDown. So I only knew the SmackDown wrestlers. And then a friend from high school who introduced me to Riley, actually, was like, oh, well, there's Monday Night Raw, too. So I got introduced, like, John Cena, Triple H. And I was like, this is awesome stuff. And then I just started watching only WWE. And then me and my mom went to Walmart one time. And I picked up a Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. And I saw, like, Bryan Danielson was in it. Seth Rollins was in it. And, like, it was, like, he was the class of, like, 20 10 or 11, like the FCW class that had like Moxley, Seth, Roman, and like all the like original like NXT people, and showed me like TNA and like what channel it was on. I was like, oh, I'm gonna explore this too. And then I started watching TNA as well, and I was like, I don't know who this Kurt Angle guy or this AJ Styles guy is, but they're freaking awesome. And I just like fell in love with it ever since.
Love that. That's awesome. So what was the moment for you where it's just, this is what I'm gonna do with my life?
Believe it or not, back in the day, so like I just graduated high school. I think it was 2016. I did a very unprofessional thing. I signed up for a CZW tryout with no experience at all, and I was like, oh well, I've done it in the backyard before, and because like me and Riley would do that in the backyard, we would literally just do wrestling moves on each other, and I did it, and like I got my butt whooped. And they were like, we see some potential in you, kid. You just got to have some training under your belt. And so I just started going to training in Dayton, Ohio. I was training at Rockstar when Rockstar was still a thing. But my trainers at the time was like, you're in college right now. So, train when you can, come down when you can. And so from 2016 to 2019, I was on and off training. So I was going to college in Youngstown, Ohio, and then I would literally drive 3 hours every Tuesday to train. So I would train and then head back to college, and I was doing that for like I was doing that for 3 years, and then so I had plenty of training for 3 years, and then 2019 comes around. I moved back home because college wasn't cutting it for me, and I was like, I want to pursue this wrestling. And then I literally got more training. And then April of 2019, I got a booking, and it's just been nonstop ever since. I got my first booking on my own, and then it was just like Michigan, West Virginia, Indiana, Wisconsin, and like all these states I've wrestled in. They just kind of came after, getting a couple matches, getting a couple film, and then bada bing, bada boom. Here I am. Like,
I love that. And I know that you recently celebrated your wrestling anniversary. I believe it was in April. What's one thing that you've learned about yourself as a person, as you've been navigating the world of professional wrestling?
Wrestling sucks sometimes. Wrestling has its downfalls. It does not pay the bills. I tell everyone, it does not pay the bills. As much as I want it to, it kind of sucks, but like, unless I get signed in the near future, well, wrestling will pay my bills. I have to have a shoot job. I have to do side hustles every once in a while just to get extra cash. And traveling does get boring every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, life as a wrestler, if anyone ever wants to be one, you are gonna spend hours in your car. So take care of your car.
I believe it.
As well. Take care of it, because you never know. You might get a text saying, "Hey, I want you to work in North Carolina or South Carolina," and you're like, "Oh, well, that's 10 hours. Hopefully, my car can make it." Like, and anything to get exposure to, like, that's pretty much it.
I like it. So as part of my research, I did come across a couple of pictures that I just want to get some instant reactions to. This first one, I'm hoping that you can see it on your phone here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. What is the story behind this photograph?
So that was my deathmatch Percy Drews era. I was doing death matches for a hot minute, and origin of that was, so like the characters I've been through was like, I went by just Percy Drews, then I became Hot Percy Drews, which was when I introduced the blonde hair and everything, and so it was like a little character change. And then I was doing a bunch of shows where death matches were involved in. So then I was like, well, I can still be Hot Percy Drews, but I can also be Deathmatch Percy Drews as well. So then I adapted into kind of doing the death matches, while also still being Hot Percy Drews. So then I was Hot Percy Drews and then Deathmatch Percy Drews. And then Saturn Price made the Tragedy Boiz an actual thing. Because originally it was just a group chat with me, Riley, Zach Thomas was in it for like a couple months. Gaston, and so it was just us 5. I'm not really good with math. So it was just a group chat. And then literally Saturn was like, you know what? Let's make this a natural thing. Let's make it a natural tag team. And then Riley got off, kind of left the group because he was doing AIW a lot. And he kind of wanted to do his own singles career. So we're like, okay, that's cool. So then it became me, Saturn, and Gaston. And Saturn just went full ham, mulch and everything. So then after the deathmatch procedures ended up being with the Tragedy Boiz. And then me and Kinsey James got together. Sadly, unfortunately, me and Hole are not together anymore. Me and Hole had a very mutual breakup back in April. And me and Hole still friends.
Yeah.
Me and Hole still tag team. So Hot Topic is still a tag team. But she's also taking like a couple months away from wrestling to kind of figure out what she wants to do.
I know.
But me and Hole still cool. There's no bad blood between us. I'm trying not to kind of be a crazy ex a little bit because I still want to talk to her and I still want to, see if she's okay. But so then I, but Tragedy Boiz, I did the Hot Topic gimmick, and then now I'm the Tiger Prince because I have like 6 Tiger tattoos. Tiger did like all my gear. Like all my gear has been Tiger affiliated because it's been my favorite animal. I don't even know how I fell in love with them, but they were just like my favorite animal. If I can get a tiger cub for an animal, I would. No joke. Because I would treat that. Yeah, I would treat that tiger cub with love and respect. But so now I'm the Tiger Prince. But Deathmatch, Percy Drews, I was just doing it to show people that like I can do the high flying stuff. I can do the death matches stuff. So I can do the hardcore. I can do the high flying stuff. I can do the technical stuff, and I can do the tag team stuff. So like, I'm a hybrid wrestler where I can do anything that you tell me to do,
And that's the way to be. I mean, it's because like you've said, as far as, traveling, make sure you have a reliable car and not knowing kind of what your schedule is going to hold for you. You never know what kind of match you're going to find yourself in. So I definitely would agree that it's important to have that well-rounded background. So yeah, no, hell yeah, hats off to you for that. But here's the second picture that I've got. I want to pull this up here. This one just makes me chuckle. So tell us a little bit about the story behind this picture, if you got one.
So my gimmick in the Tragedy Boiz is I'm the pretty one and the dumb one. So, but what it is, it's like if you look at me, Saturn, and Gaston, we're all 3 different types of wrestlers. Saturn's the big meaty guy. Gaston's more, he's the character. He's the technical wizard, the way he likes to point out and call himself. And then what I do is I'm the flippy guy. I do all the flashy stuff. I do everything that's seen on AEW, truth be told. But the whole gimmick that we do is that I'm the pretty one and the dumb one. Like you want to come watch me wrestle. Like as much as I love the boys, I do all the cool stuff. Saturn's the big guy. Gaston's I do everything by the book type of guy. So, and that picture was just to kind of show that, like, they love me at the end of the day, but character-wise, they're like, man, we really don't like this guy.
Yeah, it sounds like you're the rascal of the group. I like that.
Dude, I do. Well, I was trained by the Rascals, so it's like it's a little bit of like
even better.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like I try to be the entertainer in the group because it's like, we can't be because now we're doing the whole we're not a cult thing, like it's kind of going, it's kind of dumb, but it's like it's selling, we're getting merch for it, we're getting extra money for it, and I'm over here. I just go ham whenever someone puts a camera in my face. I'm like, yo, we have meetings at 6:30 and no one shows up at my house. So I go with the character whenever there's a camera on me. So it's like that's the whole like stick that we're doing right now.
Love that. Love that. That's awesome. In this conversation, you've referenced, some of your loves, tattoos, wrestling, and I believe that your newest obsession is Funko Pops, or are Funko Pops, I should say.
Oh,
What is it about Funko Pops that makes it so easy to become obsessed with them? Because it seems like once you get one, it just kind of blows up
yep.
from there. So yeah, I would love to get your insight on this.
So my family friends, we consider them like brothers and sisters. They're really big on that, and they came over before Kinsey left one time, and they were like, "Let's do a live stream. Let's sell our pops on the site that I do. It's called Whatnot."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Okay, this is kind of weird." They gave me a discount, and I was like, "Okay, well, let's see what they're doing." And they ended up getting like I think like 100 people on the stream, so I was like, "Oh, that's
Nice.
actually kind of cool." So then I ended up buying one, and then they gave me one for free because I was like in the next room. So I bought one off the stream, and then they gave me a free one. Then I was like, "Okay, this is kind of cool." So then I did some digging on pops that I wanted. So I spent like 200 on like 7 pops. Yeah, not a lot of pops, but it was like these are cool looking pops, and I was like, I am not gonna sell these. And then once I got them, I like made a story on my Snap and was like, I just got these. These are cool. And people were like, "Yo, how much is this? How much is this one?" And then I was like, huh, people are willing to buy these. I think I can make this work. And then I was just like,
Love it.
well, let's see what more is like, what is there? Because like I think I got a couple Pokemon and then Dragon Ball Z, and then people just wanted them. And I was like, okay, let's see if this works. So I just kept buying more, and then I just kept selling more. And then I was like, well, look, why not do this stream? So I waited till like I had like I think like 30 pops, and then I did my full stream, and I sold like 6 of them, and I made like an easy like $200.
Very
And
nice.
I was
I
I
like it.
was like, yeah, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. But then I noticed how like the first couple of streams are gonna be like you're new, people want to see what you have, but then it's like there's an inconsistency of it too, because it's like my first couple of streams were good, but then I was like, well, I have this fancy pop coming in that's like worth like $90, and I'm only selling it for like 50, and like people are like they bite off of that super fast, and
Love that.
it's a money loss. It's a money loss, but it's like you have to think. I'm telling people, hey, I have like 4 of these coming in, and they're selling for 50. So if I sell all 4 of them, it's like I just made $200. Granted, I spent more, but it's like I'm gonna get that money back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so they helped me out a little bit. They give me pointers, and now I have too much. Now I have too many pops.
So
I have
what,
a,
I was just gonna say, what's your favorite one that's like hands off? This is never getting sold.
so I'm big on Dragon Ball. Big anime level right here. Dragon Ball will always hold a place in my heart, but I always favored the Super Saiyan God transformation, the red-haired one. I always just loved that. It was my favorite transformation. So like I really wanted just one for myself.
Yeah,
And so like that was the one where I bought like 4 to 5 of them. Like in bulk, I spent like $300 because they were like all $80. I found a couple that were like 40, 50. And the one that was the super nicest, I kept to myself. I said this pop, and
good.
I triple protected it. It's in like 3 protectors right now. I said this pop is never being touched
Love it.
at all. So like I just bought 5, and I just looked at all of them, and the most prettiest one, I was like, I'm never selling this one. This
Hell yeah.
one is never being touched. But like because that pop is like so expensive, no one wants to spend like 80, $90 on it.
Yeah.
I do. And then that's why like I buy them in bulk. And like I tell my streamers like, hey, by Monday or by my next stream, I should have 2 to 3 more. And then they wait, and then they
Nice.
like bookmark my show, and then I show them the condition of it, and then they're like, what's the lowest? I'm like 50. They're like, give it to me.
I
And
like
then
it.
I yeah, so it's like And then I'm doing that with like a Danny Phantom one as well.
Yeah.
So like I got one already that someone wants, but I have another one coming in, and they want that one because it's more the condition of it's better. So it's a weird business. So I've been kind of doing that on the side as well. So it's a weird business because it's like I have people that want to pop, but then they're like, I'm not gonna spend like $10 right now on it. And it's like, well, I'm also not gonna sell it for $1 right now, you know?
Yeah, no, I got you for sure. So we've been talking all things Percy Drews for about 20 minutes now. We're going to turn the spotlight for a second. I want you to tell our audience some names that we should be on the lookout for in 2024 in wrestling.
Well, Percy Drews, duh.
I mean, again, we've been talking all things you, so we're giving you a chance to shine that light on somebody else or someone else, others, you know, and let's see if there's any names you got.
There's so many like good people popping off right now. Truth be told, I know the Chicago area, Latinos Most Wanted, they're popping off really good right now. Honestly, so I'll give them a shout out. People in you ever heard of Jackson Drake?
I have, yes.
He's super talented. He needs to travel more. I'll give him a shout out too. I miss him. I've walked him one time, and I need to walk him again. You know what? I'll give Gaston Leroux a shout out too. As much as he bothers me, I'll give him a shout out too. Why not?
That's good.
Dang, so many wrestlers I want to give a shout out to. I can't really think at the top of my head. I do want to also wish Kenzie, you know, when she comes back to wrestling, I think she's gonna pop off too. Especially because she's back now. So I know. Last time I talked to her, she said that she has a lot of Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee promoters want to hit her up. So she might be popping off very soon. And then honestly, I mean, that's all I can think of right now, truth be told.
All right. I like it. Well, that is, you know, definitely looking forward to seeing some more work from these people. Before I let you go here, this is probably the hardest question that you are going to get on this podcast, but we ask it to every guest. You are no different. So we want you to weigh in on this debate. When you hear the moniker Mr. WrestleMania, is it Shawn Michaels? Is it The Undertaker?
So, okay. So this is a tough question. I personally think it's The Undertaker, and the reason why is because most people remember the streak more than anything.
Yeah.
Because if you actually like Shawn Michaels matches are awesome. They will always be entertaining. Like the first ones you think of is always the two with the Undertaker, the one with John Cena, and then the one with Kurt Angle. Like those are fantastic matches. But he lost a lot of those.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of times at Mania. So, and then with the Undertaker, you grew up and you remembered the streak. You remember who he beat. And then he had some fantastic matches with people, too. He had fantastic matches with Orton. Both his Triple H matches were good. Both his Shawn Michaels matches were good. His like 5-minute squash match with Cena was pretty good. But,
yeah,
you know, he had fantastic matches. But personally, I think growing up, I think Mr. WrestleMania had to have been The Undertaker because it was always, will the streak end today? That was always the talk.
Yeah.
Now with Shawn, it was, you already knew he was going to have a fantastic match. You already knew it was going to be an awesome match because he went balls to the wall at Mania. But he always lost. He had I think he was like 6 and 10, I think, at Mania.
Yeah, it's not the best number, but you know, it's the matches that he did win, they were very impactful and you know have that lore of it just adds to that lore of what he was capable of doing in the ring, and the fact that he could have a brilliant match with just about anybody, even if he's, you know, not going over.
I mean, I agree with that, truth be told. But I honestly, I just think The Undertaker might have just left more, especially at Mania, because it was like you have to think a lot of Undertaker's Mania matches always got match of the year, no matter what. It was always that match. I mean, dude, I remember watching the 25th anniversary match with Shawn, and like that's guaranteed like one of the best Mania matches, if not one of the best WWE matches ever.
Yeah.
And just watching it as a kid, I was like, this match is awesome. Why didn't this main event the show?
Yeah.
But it's just like it gets remembered for just what they did, the moments they created, and then obviously the streak ended. Whatever, it's fine. Streaks don't last forever. But the only thing I can say is, truth be told, what they did after the streak did not need to happen.
Yeah.
Like he didn't need to. I think the only two that made sense was him to come back and wrestle Bray. He gets the last W. Okay, cool. But he didn't need to wrestle Shane. He didn't need to wrestle Roman. He didn't need to wrestle Cena. He didn't even need to wrestle AJ, truth be told.
Yeah.
That match was good, but he didn't need to do that because it was just like he already lost Trice. And for years it was building up that he never took a pin. And then he lost to Brock.
Yep.
And I get why they did it. It was a good moment. It was definitely a good memory. And like you have to think, WrestleMania 30, they went extra because you had the Daniel Bryan doing his thing, and then you had the streak losing, and then it was just like, and then you had 3 legends at the same time to kick off the show.
Yeah. So
it was like they went extra on that one. So I get why they broke the streak, but for the Undertaker, it should have been just he should have just called it quits right then and there.
Sure.
That should have been his last match. Should have been either keeping the streak alive, or he was like 22 or 23-0, or he loses his last match and he rides off into the sunset. Because that's storytelling. That's storytelling in wrestling right there.
Yeah.
It's a norm to lose your last match. You're always going to, your last match you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You take the fall for whoever you want to put over, or even if it's just a close wrestler friend of yours, you're going to put them over, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm satisfied with it. And I think that's what they should have done. But they didn't do it, and I can go on for another 20 minutes about why, but I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to complain.
It's okay. It just says that this is a conversation that needs to be revisited down the line.
Yeah.
But I know that you've got a bit of a busy day ahead. So Percy, I thank you for joining me today. Before I let you go, where can everybody find you on social media? Tell us what events you have coming up, where everybody can check you out.
I mean, I'm wrestling in Marion, Ohio next weekend. And then I think I need to check my schedule because I don't know off the top of my head.
That's okay.
Truth be told, I had Kinsey keep my wrestling schedule. Now that she's, not with me anymore, I have to keep track of my own wrestling schedule, which means I have to make sure I don't triple book myself on a day.
True.
Because I say yes to everybody, so it's like I got to triple check, or I'll just see myself get advertised. Then I'm like, oh, that's what I'm doing this weekend. And now I know where I'm at.
Yeah. That's fair. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Twitter at Percy Drews. Instagram is I am Percy Drews. Then Twitter is also Percy Drews. And Whatnot, the app that I sell my Funkos, is Percy Drews 16. Yeah, Percy Drews was taken, so I had to add the 16 in there. What other socials do I have? I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Oh, TikTok is also at Percy Drews.
Okay, perfect. Everybody make sure to give Percy a follow on all social media platforms. Percy, thank you so very much for joining me, and thank you for checking out this episode of the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at JunkiesPod and at mainevent_net to follow all things Main Event Wrestling Network. So Percy, thank you again. Without further ado, I'm going to let you get back to it. I know that you got some traveling, so thank you very much, and safe travels, my friend.
Sweet. I'll see you next time.
All right, sounds good. For Percy Drews and Mr. Cincinnati, this is the Wrestling Junkies podcast.